All right. I think we are taping. I'm not sure, but okay, yeah, we are recording. We are live. Welcome to Side Action, episode 14 of season 6. My name is Jim Weglars, aka Wegs. You can follow me at Wegspool on Twitter and on Instagram.
And I'm Dalton, aka Coop, and you can check me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on Twitter at Mr. Grumpy Gills. We are the Side Action Podcast. Welcome aboard. You can also check us out on Twitter and Instagram at the Side Action Podcast and Side Action Pod. So we unfortunately are hybrid again. This is all my fault. I know. I
It
know.
is your fault. You
I'll
don't
wear it.
want to be in Edgewater again. It's
I'll
okay.
wear it. Well, wait till next Friday. I feel like next Thursday and Friday, it's going to be lit, man. It's going to be. Oh, you're not even going to be there. Damn it! I keep forgetting that.
We got to talk about that, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, but no, I'm in Ohio. Hopefully, I'm sure he's not listening to this, but we have a surprise party for a grandfather who's turning 80 this weekend. So yeah, so don't tell anybody. I know we have hundreds of thousands of listeners. So if you do see him out in the grocery store, or maybe at his house, try not to, give the secret away. So I'd appreciate it for another day or so.
Yeah, good for you bringing in the season greetings. No Christmas yet. We're still working in the, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is. But I like that you're wearing your hat. You're delivering your presents somewhere. And I'm wearing my Fire Dice Bad Luck fleece from Rivers.
Oh, is
Um,
it bad luck?
well, the hot streak's over, pal. As you know, last week, Coop and I, we had a nice Thanksgiving. It's been a minute. It feels like a decade ago this how
Doesn't
it happened.
it?
But
Uh,
by the way, Thanksgiving was last week. I don't know if you remember. And then Coop on Friday, I'm gonna steal your thunder, but he had a good weekend bowling. And so then he's like, "Hey, we got some people going to the casino." I'm like, "What? Are you going to the casino?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I can go." Well, famous last words. End up losing whatever 500-600 bucks out there at Rivers. They're very happy to see us there. We tried the strategies. It didn't work. It really no strategy works unless you do the don't, which
yeah.
you were going to try. The only guy who made money at the table was the don't guy, because basically there was 6 points thrown on the whole night in the 2 hours we were there, 2.5 hours. So, but
Yeah,
anyway.
a lot of hard sixes were thrown though. That one guy, he was pretty happy. A lot of hard numbers were thrown around, and that's the only thing that we approve of on this podcast is hard numbers, nothing else. So we
Like
just
the
keep that. Yeah, I just always want to make sure that everybody knows that as well.
Yeah, I threw a couple hard ones too, but they will say I was one time I was in Vegas about a year and a half ago. These guys were chanting, "Let's get hard, let's get hard." I don't know what they're talking about, but it wasn't the craps table. So,
Oh yeah, there we go.
and
There we
then
go.
and then you missed the holiday club. I know you got some. I don't know. There's word there was some food poisoning, but I don't want
Yeah,
to bad light. But I just know you missed out. We went to the holiday club. Got a couple dances in there, and
yeah. Are they still closing that? Is that a
You
thing?
know, I think so, but I didn't read the sign. I just know that they were trying to rezone the place, and I think that's the reason why Steph wanted to go. But hard to say. It's still open for business as of now.
Yeah. All right, let's hope so. We don't want to make a headstone for the holiday club. So
Yeah, no. I mean, pour one out. So, yeah, but anyway, I was in Ohio earlier this week, so we crossed paths. I was in Columbus. I don't know if I told you that. I was in Columbus
oh, nice.
Monday through Wednesday. And have you been to Columbus before?
No, never. Yes, I've been to Columbus once. Or
Have you
yeah.
been to the
Oh
Char
yeah,
Bar? Have you been to the Char Bar?
the Char Bar. I've driven past it.
Yeah, it's a dive, nice dive. I've been there, and we went to this place called Parlay, way overpriced for Columbus,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. I've heard of Parlay. Yeah,
that's fine.
I've
A
been
little
there. Yeah.
overpriced, but the Char Bar is, it's your classic dive bar. I went in the basement. It was a little musty down there with the bathroom. I'm not really sure. It
Is that
looked
on
like a
High Street?
speakeasy entrance, but it was nice.
Is that on High Street?
It is on High
Okay,
Street, so it's
nice.
right. We were at the convention center for the
Yeah,
conference. I stayed at the Hampton again across the way. I only stayed within a 2 block radius the whole time, so.
right. Well, everything's kind of within a two block. You didn't catch a Jackets game? That'd have been fun. That's what you should have
It
really
was
done.
only a couple blocks away too, but I did not. I think maybe they played Monday night when we got in.
Yeah,
We
they played
watched
the
it.
Bruins. I think they beat them 3-0. Yeah, look
I
at
mean, it
you.
was it was almost as riveting as the Bears game, which we can get to in a minute if you'd like. The Bears game was rough to watch, but we did watch, and so. Well, let's get into this, Coop. You've
Yeah.
already got it written down. I have to kind of, I'm not super prepared today, Coop. Sorry, buddy. I've been busy and work keeps calling me literally. So, who are you taking to the shed this week?
So we got a couple this week. So we're gonna start with the Blackhawks.
Mm,
I don't know if you heard about the rumors that are not rumors, but they seem to be pretty true.
okay.
Um, so there, if you're familiar with Corey Perry or familiar with the team, Corey Perry plays on the Blackhawks. He got signed in the offseason to a 1-year deal. He's kind of a veteran, he's kind of one of those guys who's been around a couple different locker rooms, won some championships, he's got some pedigree, all that good stuff.
Okay.
And he was coming in to kind of help Connor Bedard, give that veteran sense, teach him how to be a professional, if you will.
Sure.
Well, during the recent mom's trip, he's been gone for the last 2 weeks inexplicably from the roster. No one has explained it. No, the people asking, probably started like, hey, where's Corey Perry?
Yeah.
Um, but apparently the rumor was that came out on Tuesday was that on the mom's trip, he hooked up with Bedard's mom. So on Wednesday, he was cleared on waivers. He was released from the team. The only thing that was stated was that he had broke conduct that was not supportive of the Blackhawks. So the man doesn't have anything out for his arrest. We didn't do anything illegal. But apparently,
No.
everybody's saying those rumors aren't true, but yet, oh man. So it's pretty spicy. We're taking the black. It's enough to have him here at the rest of his career. He's 18 years old. He's supposed to be like the second coming of the NHL, and everybody's gonna just have mom jokes for the rest of his time in the
That's
league.
classic.
So.
Wasn't there a joke with
Well, LeBron had that with didn't his mom? Who did his Delonte West? Maybe was it Delonte West?
maybe, but I was thinking more it was Wilson, Zach Wilson. Didn't he have something
Oh
like?
yeah, he was big into the moms for sure. Yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna say? I mean, it happens. I mean, we've seen you're one of your favorite movies, Major League. You get the that wasn't a mom, but that was a wife of one of the other players. I mean, these things happen on the road, man. You don't know what you're
Yeah.
doing there.
You just never know. So we took them to the shed. It was just an interesting week, obviously dating back to the sexual allegations the Blackhawks have dealt with in the past already and just the
Yeah.
mess that was. So
Yeah.
also we're going to take Josh Giddey to the shed. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He plays for actually the top was it they're up there contending in the West. I think they're the second seed right now, but the Oklahoma City Thunder, he's one of their forwards. I think he's a rookie. But he played basketball at UCLA or UC Irvine, one or the other. But he trains out in California quite a bit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he got picked up this week because it was rumored he's having an unfortunate relationship with a minor. So we're gonna take him to the shed. I don't know why.
There seems to be a theme with this week's shed.
Well, it's just weird too. I mean, it does seem a little odd just because he is like an 18 or 19-year-old kid. So
Yeah.
I don't know, if it's lenient or not, but still, we all know the rule. And then you're gonna enjoy this one too. We're gonna take Ryan Shazier to the shed.
Okay.
I don't know if you read this or not, but I dabbled into this rabbit hole last night on Twitter. He was trending. I don't know if you saw this, but apparently he cheated on his wife, and it was in exchange for a lot of backdoor pleasantries, if you will. So I encourage people to go read it on Twitter. It is a great rabbit hole to get lost in. It's obviously, the horrifying thing that happened to Ryan Shazier would never wish on anybody. But hey, it just goes to show you that we're not, not all of us are built for it, I guess, or that we are human after all. So we all have our price. So it just goes to show you, man. So we took all of them to the shed. I don't know if there was a theme or not. I wasn't necessarily looking for one, but
it seems thematic.
Yeah, well, it was a big week, I guess, for foreplay. So maybe we should take foreplay to the shed. So
post-Thanksgiving, dalliances, we'll call it, I guess.
Got to work those calories off somehow, Wegs.
That's right. Well, I do have somebody, or maybe, I'm not sure that we can debate this. I'm not sure if I'm taking owner David Tepper to the shed or Frank Reich to the shed. So I'm not a huge fan of Frank Reich. I think he did pretty well with the Colts in his early days, maybe because he had a really good roster. But it's pretty tough to fire a guy in year one. I know he's only 1 in 10, but it seems to me that Tepper seems to think that he's a GM or a coach. I heard some reports today that he's the type of owner that would slip plays to the coaching staff like last year. And obviously he was trying to get Frank Reich for the last 2 weeks to do more read option, apparently, with Bryce Young. I don't know if you noticed, Bryce Young's kind of small. He's not exactly Jalen Hurts. But anyway, so I'm going to confidently say I'm going to take the owner Tepper to the shed because I think he's making, not that Frank was the best pick, but he clearly is a disaster. He's taken this organization down a little bit. You know what's going to happen this week. They'll probably get the dead cat bounce. We'll talk about that. But long run, if he's meddling in the affairs, I mean, almost worse than Jerry Jones has ever done within the locker room, it's going to be bad. So we'll take you, sir, to the shed, even though you're a billionaire hedge fund guy.
Yeah, the patience too. It just goes to show you that those guys with a lot of money, he really wants to win. I guess that's like the good thing of that situation. It shows that I guess that he really wants to win.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's just not very patient. So it takes a couple of years to build an organization, build a culture, build, a team like that. Oh, I also forgot to mention my honorary member. This happened a
No.
couple of days ago. Did you hear about Sports Illustrated, by the way?
No. What
Oh,
do I
wow.
care
So
about
no,
it?
we're gonna take them to the shed. They had fake profiles, Wegs, of AI writers. They had AI writers on their staff. They got called out for it. They took everything down,
Hmm.
and then released a statement saying it was a third-party company they'd hired to do this, and they had no idea it was going on. But they had created
Interesting.
like fake profiles, like people of like nationalities, like names, like everything, like to the T. They had like 3 or 4 different profiles up, and they had I don't know how many fake articles they had written through AI on Sports Illustrated,
That's
but
crazy.
yeah, that came out I think Monday or Tuesday. So we're gonna take journalism to the shed because it's all apparently what we do is just fake and then
That's
AI can do
fascinating.
it. So look forward to next week of working with a computer. Maybe I'll be the AI and then you can be
Yeah,
the person and we'll just take turns or something.
sure.
But yeah. But yeah,
I
that was my honorary
this
member.
isn't actually me right now. This is a simulated AI screen for yourself. So what about the Dub Club? I'm gonna go first this time. It's really kind of a we don't you usually they're pretty big names in the Dub Club, but I like to dig deep. I was watching the game on Sunday. Atlanta's Jesse Bates, the safety. He had a big game. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
good ball player. First of all, I do like him.
From
You mean college? Come on, man. Jesse Bates.
ACC.
Wolfpack?
They don't even have a stadium right now.
They don't have a stadium right now?
Well, they have like half a stadium right now.
I don't know. I don't know what.
Wake Forest. Wake Forest was
Wake.
the
Oh,
answer.
good. Wake Forest. Well, he had a pick six early in that game, which was really a big differentiator in the game. He also forced a fumble in this big win when Atlanta got the win over at New Orleans. Honestly, as good as they played in the second half of that game, Atlanta, early in that game, the Saints were moving the ball at will without those turnovers. I mean, they probably lost that game outright. So, Jesse Bates, come on into my small exclusive section of Club Dub, whereas the big stance floor is filled with the Coop guys.
Yeah, well, the first person we're gonna put in Coop's Club Dub. Maybe we should start like maybe putting some graphics behind that. Maybe I'll get a banner for the studio there. But anyway, we're gonna start with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He got clear. He got clear for the 21-day window. I highly doubt he's ever gonna play this season. I wouldn't personally play him if I was the owner of the Jets. But we'll get in obviously that as we talk about the games more. But if he does come back from Achilles, I mean, just be amazing to see him play again this season. So
Yeah.
the fact that he's out there, I think
He's
it was
practicing.
11 weeks. I think it was 11 or 12 weeks to the day when he
Right.
got reactivated for practice. So that's pretty cool. We'll put him in Club Dub. We're also going to put Michigan in Club Dub. They had a
Yes.
big win against Ohio State. They won the game, if you will. So
Third
anytime
time.
you win the game, you automatically get in the Club Dub. Everybody knows that. So,
Sure.
um, and that the last person or the last team I had in Club Dub for the week, we put the Blue Jackets in there because, like I was saying earlier, they beat the
There you go.
Bruins on Monday 3-0. They were last place in the Metro, and they played Boston as first place in Metro, beat them 3-0. They went 3-0 the last week, so things are looking up in Columbus after
They are.
0-5 the previous 5. So
There you go.
we can only hope. This is the only time we're ever going to put them in Club Dub, so I figured I'd take advantage of it, to be honest.
It
So
was funny. I was sitting next on the plane down to Columbus. I was sitting next to a young lady who, ironically, was traveling from Thailand to Columbus, which apparently, when you go from Thailand to Columbus, the only way to go is first to Korea, then to New York, or no, Boston, then to Chicago, then back to Columbus. There was no semblance of a direct flight situation, but she was a big hockey fan. She loves the jacket. She was very excited about the jackets, even though they stunk. So there you go.
yeah. It's the beautiful thing of they can never decide if they want to win or if they want to tank. That's the argument we have all the time in the hockey world. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk about college football. This is the last. I don't really call it the regular season because not everybody's playing, but championship week for college football, and we've got some big games that really are important. Starting tonight, actually, Coop. I guess we could go in order.
oh yeah,
Uh, so tonight you've got the Big 12 or Pac-12 championship.
yeah.
Oregon versus Washington. Now, I think the winner should be in. I think I don't know all the iterations, but in my mind, Oregon, Washington, the winner of this game, Washington be undefeated. They should be in for sure. Oregon's only got lost to Washington, so I think the winner should be in tonight, barring some craziness. But you got that big game. I know that
Yeah,
didn't
and
make the list.
you got the Conference USA Championship tonight is also. You got undefeated Liberty. Look out for them. They're a
Yeah,
hot topic. Some people were debating if they were to win the Conference USA and whatever scenarios happen this weekend, maybe Liberty could sneak into the top 4 into the
yeah.
playoffs. So,
Now they're playing who? New Mexico State.
yeah, they're playing New Mexico State. They're 10-3 on the season. They're playing in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily really. It's kind of a neutral site, if you will. So I anticipate a good game from Liberty. I think Liberty's going to be a
Yeah,
good
I've heard
take.
I'm not going to bet on it, Coop, because that's your bailiwick. But I heard the sharp money's on New Mexico State plus 10, 10.5, whatever it is. But
If,
I'm
yeah, I
staying
hate
with
the
it.
hook there. If you can get the hook, I would take the 10.5. But if you get the 10, I would anything lower than 10.
So I'm pretty sure, even though it's not on your picks of the week here, you're behind Oregon in this one, right?
Yeah, I think Oregon's going to roll. I think Washington's they're getting healthier because they're getting their third wide receiver back, which should be helpful. But
Right.
they probably shouldn't have beat Oregon the first time. I think Oregon had more yards, more time of possession. They had less turnovers, I believe. The only reason they didn't win is because they couldn't convert on fourth down. They decided to go for touchdowns instead of kicking field goals, which I think to beat good teams, you have to put the ball in the end zone anyway. So nothing will drive you crazier than your team field goaling people to death. So
They are nine and a
um,
half point favorites. They're playing in Vegas, actually. So would you,
yeah.
I mean, it's not your official pick, but you also say they'd lay the number.
Oh yeah, I would lay I would lay up to I would probably go up to 14 with Oregon for sure.
Wow. I hope Ridgeway's not
Yeah.
listening. She's going to be
Yeah,
mad.
no, sorry, Ridgeway. It's been a good season and all, but I think Oregon's more of a complete team. They definitely have a better defense, I think, than Washington does, and they've been playing much better football as of late, last 3 or 4 weeks too. So it
Yeah.
seems like Washington's just gotten by every week. It seems like they just
Yeah, they
skate
don't
by.
have much of a defense. They just have a good offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
And then Bo Nix, he's actually currently the favorite for the Heisman. So if he plays well, he has a good shot. I know your guy, Jaden Daniels, I think he probably should win, but he's in the clubhouse, so to speak. He can't really do anything more to win the award. So we'll see if Nix comes through.
yeah, we'll see. And then obviously how those voters work, it'll probably be like you said, if Oregon gets into the playoff, more than likely Bo Nix is going to win the Heisman. So,
Yeah.
but that's okay. But yeah, the other two, Saturday's a little bit bigger. We have obviously Alabama and Georgia, and I
Yeah.
think no, that's the second game. So
The
Texas and
first
Oklahoma
game's
State play
Oklahoma
first.
State,
Yeah,
Texas.
yeah. So they play first in the Big 12 championship. I don't know about you, but I think Texas has to roll. Whether all the other scenarios happen for even them to get in, if they don't like control the game against Oklahoma State, I think it's going to be hard to put them in. Obviously, if Alabama beats Georgia, it's going to be hard to keep Alabama and Texas both out because obviously the Texas has that win, but I still think Texas needs to go out and dominate this game. They have to. I think if you're gonna, it's not in my picks either. I have two other picks, but if I debated on taking Texas because I feel like they're the team that has to go out and really make a statement as opposed to the score of the game being indicative. So
Yeah, it's a 15 point favorite for Texas, so they're the heavy favorite. But the Pokes are always, I mean, it is in Jerry's world, so that's got to be a Texas favorite crowd. It's pretty close to Austin, but I hear you. So you think Texas has to come out and dominate because obviously they have to win and dominate to make it.
yeah,
Then
I mean they've been playing playoff football for like 3 weeks now. If you think
yeah,
about it.
they've been playing pretty good. Then you've got Georgia playing Alabama. I'm assuming that's in the Georgia Dome, right? Is that where we're playing this?
Yeah, that should be down in Atlanta.
So it's kind of like a home game for Georgia, but it always has been. Alabama's a 5.5 point dog in this game. I mean, it looks like you like Bama in this game, huh?
Yeah,
To
I
win
do.
outright? Or
I do
just
like the. I don't know if I like them outright. I keep going back
okay.
and forth on this. I don't want them to win outright because I would much rather see Alabama lose and then Texas get in, just because I'm partial to
Sure,
my Texas future that I placed back in like week
sure.
3 or whatever. So that's just me. But I think Alabama obviously can win. The metrics say that the line the I guess the line play between Georgia and everybody else is nowhere near as dominant. I mean, Georgia's I think somewhere in the 70s as far as offensive line efficiency.
Okay.
They've gotten better in recent weeks, but this is like the first year in the last at least 2 or 3 years that the line of scrimmage is not going to be dominated from the first quarter the whole game by Georgia. Like the other team is going to have a chance to, impose their will on the game and have control of that. And obviously, I think Saban is. I mean, he's just as good as Kirby Smart. I think Kirby Smart's probably surpassed him maybe at this point, as far
Sure.
as like right now. But as far as resume, obviously, but I mean, Alabama obviously skated by last week. They might have been looking ahead. I don't know. I'm not in that
You
room.
think
So
so? You think so?
they pulled
Fourth
a
and
rabbit out
third
of their
down?
ass.
I mean,
I mean,
fourth and-
if Milroe goes off, do you think Milroe could have a chance at the Heisman?
I don't know. My everybody's saying it's a 2-horse race, but it'd be nice to see that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got
So
the
you,
moment. He definitely has the moment on 4th and goal.
now
So
you like the over the 55 point total is for this is the Georgia Alabama game.
yeah, I like the over there, but I like Alabama to cover. If you want to take them outright money line, I wouldn't fault you for that either.
No,
So
I don't. I know that you're going with the big conferences, but I don't want to skip over the proxies. Will be mad. You know that
yeah,
UNLV is playing.
Tulane.
What
Yeah,
about UNLV and Boise?
that or Tulane. We don't forget about Tulane and SMU either.
We haven't gotten there yet, though. We
Oh,
forgot
my
about the
fault.
MAC. The MAC championship is all tomorrow, by the way. But the UNLV is playing Boise. They're 2.5 point dogs, and obviously they haven't played this game ever. Barry Odom's coached them pretty well. Just putting that out there for the proxies.
Is that where's that game taking place at?
That's a great question. Let's take a look if I can find out.
Is that at home? Like, is that in Boise?
It can't. Is that I don't think so.
Mountain
Don't they
West,
play?
I assume.
Here, let's take a look. I have to go to my sub board here. It's not on the top 25 somehow. Let's see. It says the game is being played. It's also being played in Vegas. It's a home game for the
For the UNLV. Nice.
Are they called the Rebs anymore?
Yeah, it says hosted by UNLV football. There it is.
Yeah, they're just not the running Rebs anymore. They're the Rebels. I don't know.
It's hard to say.
But yeah, so
That's right in the backyard.
yeah, they're so I guess so yeah, because the Pac-12 is being played Friday, they get to play Saturday morning.
Gotcha. That would check out. They're not playing in Allegiant Stadium. That's pretty wild.
No, they are playing Allegiant Stadium.
Oh, okay.
That's where the UNLV plays there now.
Oh, do they? Okay.
I
Well, that
think so.
checks out. I was gonna say I thought when we were in Vegas a couple weeks ago they had their own field out there by the school, but
They do have their own field, but I think they might have switched over to Allegiant. I should probably text the proxy, my sis, hey, because she can get tickets,
Yeah.
Okay, so then I don't know if we're going in order, but okay, you did say Tulane, okay, right? SMU Tulane, that's going to happen. The American, and Tulane's obviously the 3-point favorite, pretty short favorite. They've been playing some good football though.
Yeah, no, I mean they're both 8-0 in conference. Man, Tulane has been pretty consistent all year. They beat who'd they beat early this year? I think it was Auburn, I want to say. No, it definitely wasn't. Ole Miss. They beat Ole Miss earlier this year.
Not bad.
So that's pretty good. Like I said, Ole Miss a top 10 team, I think, right now. So
Yep.
no, Tulane's definitely the more talented team. I think they want to probably play for another New Year's Six. I think they played in New Year's Six last year. I think they like to get back there again. So I'd lay the 3. I'd take the green wave. I mean, who doesn't? Who can't root for the wave? I mean, come on.
Yeah, they're New Orleans team. So and then the other 2 biggies, we've got Louisville playing Florida State. That's obviously that one's a tough one because we know that Florida State could have been. Well, they still can do it, but this was in Charlotte. Braum is actually really good off of. Well, he didn't. I think they lost last week, didn't they? Louisville
lost to Kentucky. Yeah, shout out to Lee Corso. That was a super dog pick, and everybody laughed at him.
Yeah, I think that the coach now is like 10-0 or 11-0 after a loss at ATS. So the Sharps like Louisville for a lot of reasons, even though they're a short dog in this one, 1.5. Florida State's got a good team, but they lost their quarterback a couple weeks ago, and it's tough. In some ways, Coop, I don't know how you feel about this. They are undefeated. You probably knew this. Florida State's undefeated. So if they win, they deserve to be in the playoff, but they're going to get crushed if they make it. So in some ways, you got to root for Louisville so that way it keeps a better Final Four, right?
That's exactly how I feel about it. I just hope that Florida State loses just for that reason, just so we don't have to sit here and debate about it. Like, let the powers above, God help Jordan Travis. I'm sorry that happened to him, but without Jordan Travis playing, the team is just not the same. They've got a backup quarterback. You see in the NFL every week when you go to a backup quarterback, your team just stinks. It doesn't happen very often. So, yeah, I would take Louisville. I'd take the underdog. I think I'd take them outright, but I'm hoping that the powers above will still kind of sort this out the right way. For sure.
All right, and then the Big Ten is the last one. Michigan against Iowa. We know that Iowa doesn't score, but they play good defense. They're 20. Well, you've got them 22. It's 21 and a half here on my app. So you're all over the Wolverines here. Now, they're playing in Lucas Oil in Indianapolis. If they lose, are they still in?
Probably not. No. Because their strength of schedule's trash.
That's true. So theoretically, if the favorites do win, if Michigan, Georgia, Texas, and Oregon, those would be your four if they win outright. Unless
I think that would be our most competitive top four we could get. Yeah.
But
I think that's probably the most balanced. Yeah. I was gonna say Florida State's technically the favorite too. So if you go chalk that way, Florida State would probably get in, and then you'd probably leave the Pac-12 champion out at that point, just because they've beaten each other. You kind of cancel each other out at that point. So we can only hope for that's the Final Four we get.
Most likely scenario, Michigan, Georgia, but then Oregon, I think they'll probably win. Sorry, Ridgeway. But if Oklahoma State somehow jumps in, then it opens the door for who? So then it would be
probably Ohio State, I would say. Ohio State or God forbid Alabama wins. Yeah, God forbid.
Alabama wins, then it's Georgia, Michigan. So can Georgia miss the playoff is what I'm getting at. So Alabama wins, Michigan wins, Oregon and Texas win. Do you think that Georgia's on the way? They're on the.
If they get blown out, maybe like they'd have to lose by like 21. I mean, they'd have to just look just awful. I mean, they'd have to look like a high school team out there. You know, like it'd have to. I feel like because they're the two-time defending champs, they hadn't lost all year. They lose to Alabama once in the championship game. Like,
and even though Texas beat Alabama, they'd be the team out versus Oregon because Oregon. Well, they have a one-loss team because I mean Oregon has a tougher schedule than Texas.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the Pac-12 is the best conference this year, which is really a satire in itself. That's the last year of the conference. It's the best year they have. So, oh man, yeah, I don't know at that point, man, that'd be tough. So that's why I'm hoping that Georgia could just beat Alabama. We don't have to worry about it. Just hopefully we
need Louisville to win, and then
have I don't know.
Michigan,
I just got a
Georgia, Oregon, Texas, and then we got who we want, right?
Yeah, well, Michigan's gonna win it all anyway. It's either gonna be Michigan or Texas.
Okay.
It's America's team. How can you not? I mean, we're taking Michigan this week, minus 22, minus 21 and a half. You could take either one. Jim Harbaugh is back.
He's back.
The only thing that stings, he's back in the most way. We should have put him in Club Dub, honestly, because I don't know if any other team in the country can go basically 6-0 without their head coach. Yeah. So he's in Club Dub. Sorry, we can maybe edit and put this back in like the first 5 minutes or so. But yeah, take Michigan. It's America's team. I mean, we can all be Michigan fans for a couple of weeks. Watch them win a national championship. I think it'd be good for college football. He would go to the NFL, which is what we all really could have had. We could really use that at the end of the day.
Coach the Bears. Bears.
See, exactly. We all win at that point.
We can have him on the podcast. There you go.
Oh my God. See, it's all coming together. So we can get him at, we can hang out ESPN 1000 for a couple hours, like, hey Jim, do you mind if I got a nice pair of khakis? You cannot not talk to us.
We can get him some side action khakis.
Yeah. Maybe a zip up, quarter zip too.
Oh, quarter zip.
Yeah. There you go.
No dice on there.
No. We'll put the logo there instead.
All right. So just to review your picks this week, Michigan minus 22, minus 21 and a half, minus whatever number. Alabama plus the 5 or 5.5. Those are your picks this week.
Yeah, and we did go 2-0 last week. I don't know if this record is updated, so I don't know if it's 21-4. Is it okay? I didn't know if it was 21-4 or 23-4. So, but yeah, 21-4-1 on the year. So that's pretty good. Hopefully,
that's not bad. That's pretty good.
We can replicate that next year. That's all I got to say.
I mean, it's only like 88%. So
maybe next year we'll add a third game, and maybe just just to appease the listener. I know Art's a big fan of the college picks, so maybe we'll add a third pick next year. If anything, it might help us win some more units. You never know.
Some more units. There you go. All right, well, let's go over the NFL now. Recap for Week 12. It was pretty closer, a little closer in some of these metrics. The road teams did have an edge, 9-7 this past week. But guess what? The favorites, they just pimp slapped everybody. 12-4 last week. Kind of crazy. Unfortunately, some of the favorites I picked did not come in. But anyway, and then the totals, the overs were 9-7, which usually what happens, overs hit when, that's kind of correlated usually, overs with favorites, just so you know, if you want to know that thing. But really there were, didn't I lie about this? It should have been one game against the spread matter because that was the one that actually mattered. It depends on the closing number. Okay, my bad. The closing number was I think they closed at 2.5. Anyway, so in my metrics, no games mattered against the closing spread. It did matter if you picked the contest spread, just so you know. Side action is just, I'm sorry, Coop. We are just, we've got 6 weeks to make a miracle happen. 2 and 3 again this week. We've been doing this for like 4 or 5 weeks in a row. We're just slipping and sliding down. Top teams up at 73.33. We're at 53.33. So we really, it's going to be tough to win this thing. We could maybe get in the money if we just go get really hot, which is what we need to do. So there's one more week in this quarter, and then we can get the last 5 weeks, which is the last quarter, and that way we can get a great quarter and win some money. That's the idea. So
you never know. Yeah, you got to. It's not about how hot you get. It's about getting hot at the right time. It's about putting it together when it really matters.
That's what she's. Anyway, exactly. So we did pick Atlanta. Hey, we hit on one. They were a pick. They didn't win outright 24-15. As I mentioned, Jesse Bates played well.
Such the wrong side. Such the wrong side.
Did you see the Falcons? But they ran for like 188 yards in the game. They just ran it right down the Saints' throat. I'm sorry, dude. That's what happens.
Yeah, that happens.
We'll go to the next game. It's okay. This is
trying to field goal people to death. That's what happens.
It's true. So then Houston, we went on the Houston side. Wah, wah. What a great game, though. What a great game. This is a game that I want to see twice a year for the next 5 years in the AFC South. You had
decade.
The Jags came out guns a-blazing, playing really good, up 10-0, up 24-14. But CJ Stroud, he may not be your MVP, but he's the MVP of the podcast. He actually brought them back, got them a brief lead. They lost the lead, then they had a chance to tie the game. I really think they kind of settled a little bit for this 58-yard field goal with this dude who's never kicked anything over 49 yards.
Amendola,
but he kicked it. Oh, man, he hit the crossbar and went the wrong way. It could have gone the other way, Coop. He was about, let's call it 5 inches short. That's what she said.
Yeah, story of my life, man.
20.
Yeah. No, so it was a great game. To your point, it's we're going to see this game for another decade. So it's really cool to see. To your point, CJ Stroud's only going up in MVP odds. In the week you were gone, I'm telling you, that's when I started telling everybody to get on this train at 175-1.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is now, but I know it's a hell of a lot lower than that. So, though it's going to be interesting to see if the Texans do make the playoffs. They have a pretty good. That's funny. They have a pretty good.
And then you miss the ambulances and the police sirens. I mean, you feel so safe and warm and cozy in your hat over there.
But no, we're gonna see the Houston. I think plays at Denver. Or no, they are home against Denver this week. So we're gonna see if they can get right or not. And like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see if they make a playoff push or not.
I know. And then we did pick the Rams. They closed a 2.5-point favorite. It was a pick in the contest. They just destroyed Arizona. I'm not sure if Arizona's waving their white flag or it's just, Stafford, once he was ruled into play, it was a big difference. They took care of business 24-8. So, hey, we got that win. The next two were not so great, Coop. And these were both kind of, well, let's just face it. Let's talk about the Eagles game first. I don't know if you could predict this game. We did pick the Eagles minus 3.5, which kind of sucks because this is the number that closed at 2.5. So that's why I didn't rate it a no cover. But Buffalo dominated this game. They should have won the game. A lot of people said it right. Hey, this is a must win. They got to play their best game. Did they? They did for about 52 minutes of this game. They looked like the better team. Unfortunately, in the second half, they could not stop the Eagles. The Eagles did whatever they wanted. And more importantly, I should have put them in the shed, but McDermott played scared, man. He didn't try to do anything with 20 seconds left on the clock in regulation. He also he just was settling in that game. Even they didn't go for 4th and long. I know when they kicked the field goal and then in overtime and then ended up losing the game outright with Philly. Philly couldn't be stopped in the second half. You gotta go for broke in that situation. So obviously the Eagles won the game 37-34 in overtime. They covered the closing line but did not cover our contest line of 3.5.
Yeah, no, I tried to tell you that Buffalo was going to come out and play well. I was feeling so good for the first 3 quarters. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to get on the podcast and talk about this. And then the fourth quarter happened, and just I don't know what happened. Yeah, it's like the completely mood that changed. The whole team changed. Eagles, yeah. They were dogs. They were, like you said, they controlled both lines of scrimmage from the jump, which you don't
Yeah.
really see against the Eagles. And I think they were up to 10 like twice in that game.
Yeah.
They were up 17-7, and I almost think they were up like 24-14 or 21-4, something like that. So just I don't know, man. I don't know how you don't fire Sean McDermott. I really don't. Just because Josh Allen has been either I think he's been in the top 2 or top 3, if not the top quarterback in touchdown to turnover ratio the last 4 seasons. So everybody keeps talking about him turning the ball over, but he's been in the top 3 of producing touchdowns versus turning the ball over. And like the only quarterbacks that are ahead of him, I think out of those combined years were like Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, and maybe Joe Burrow sprinkled in there, but that's it. Like the fact you have this guy and they can't do shit with him, like
they let him run the ball for the last, I don't know, but I guess it was Dorsey. It wasn't really Dorsey's fault, but somebody tried to, hold back the regulator on him to keep him healthy. The last 3 weeks, they've let him be Josh Allen. He's going to run. He's going to throw the ball. The dude's country strong. You can't get the guy down. I mean, really, Jalen Hurts and him are very similar, except Allen's got a bigger arm than Hurts. But when he is running, he ran for 80 yards in this game, and he threw for 300 yards. I mean, this is what you want to see. Josh Allen, too bad the defenses, they couldn't hold up, but let him go. Now, granted, this team has got a terrible schedule. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think we talked about this. It's like,
I called that in the beginning of the season, by the way.
Yeah, you did.
Just to rewind that. But no, and to your point too, when they I think we're up 3 or were they up 3 when they gave the ball to Philadelphia, and it's like they just played so scared defense. They didn't play to like prevent the field goal at all. They played to prevent the touchdown. And it's like that point, it's like, why not just, we need to, it's like, this is your season, basically. Like, we need to not let them score, period. So I felt like there was just a terrible shift or mindset with this team. And it's almost become cancerous where it feels like it's taken over the team, honestly.
Yeah, they don't believe. Last game was the Raiders. They were 8.5-point favorites. Actually floated up to like 9.5 at close. They're off doing it 14-0 start, dude. I was like, yes, I was right about the Raiders. Except they barely scored the day, and the D just took control, and they won 31-17. I mean, it was like, come on, Raiders. I mean, you scored 17 points against a team who's barely scored all year, and you give up 31 points. So good, maybe the Chiefs are looking better. Maybe they got off the snide and they could do it. And they did cover the game 31-17. So good for them. The Raiders failed me. But hey, what are you going to do on the next week? And but you did pretty well, 3-1. It looks like in your picks, if I clocked them correctly.
Yeah, we had a nice we bought in on the Chiefs when they were down 14-0 on money line too. We got like plus 400. So that's a new strategy we've like to employ, by the way, is we like to take favorites that are down quickly on money lines. I don't know if we've talked about this before. Yeah, but I was talking about it at a golf league the other night with Patrick.
Yeah, betting.
Yeah, he was mentioning it. So we cashed in on that. I was really upset. I don't know if we're going to talk about this game probably here in a second. I'll save it because I have a lot of emotions to share about last night's game. But we're getting better on our pro picks. I think if the 3-1 added last week's, now we're 28, 24-2 on the season. So we're getting a little bit more above 500. So thank God, because we needed it.
Started off a little slow, but so you took Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh grinded out. They finally had 400 yards of offense. Oh my God, they did it.
16 points. What is with this team? I mean,
again, they couldn't capitalize in the red zone. They wanted to not kick field goals, which is understandable, but I think in hindsight, that's going to happen. You're going to have weeks where you don't put the ball in the end zone, but the fact that they had moved the ball up and down the field better than they had all year, I think that's definitely a step in the right direction.
It was a dead kitten bounce. We talked about a dead kitten bounce. You didn't want to. That was bad.
Yeah, a dead Canada bounce, if you will.
Dead Canada bounce.
Yeah, right. But no, they look pretty good. As long as the defense stays healthy, I think this team could definitely make the playoffs. So, and the Browns, unfortunately, are going in the wrong direction. So.
Right. You got the Colts. Colts were 2.5-point favorites. This was interesting. Baker got hurt in this game, so it was. I had the over. It did cash, but it was like this game was sailing over right away, like 14-7 first quarter. I'm like, oh, this is going to be easy. And then Baker got banged up, and the game just kind of stalemated. It did get there. 27-20 was the win, and I think it was 44.5 was the total. But and Mike Baker did hit Mike Evans for me, for the fantasy team, but. The Colts got the win. Hey, the Colts are right on the verge of the playoffs, dude. I mean, this team has been sneaky.
Yeah, they're frisky. Which I'm telling you, they're frisky. But they're also, I think I've come to realize the AFC South is the quarterback quarterback division of the future, if you think about it. Like you have Anthony Richardson there, you have CJ
Sure.
Stroud in Houston, you have obviously Trevor Lawrence in
Lawrence.
Jacksonville, so that's
Will
definitely good. And you have
Levis?
Will Levis in Tennessee.
Levis?
Yeah, the gun show in Tennessee. How could you forget? I think they're going to have a new coach after this year, so we'll
Yeah.
definitely see how that goes. But no, I think things are looking very bright in the AFC South. So
There you go. Buy low. And then
yeah,
we mentioned the Bears game, 3.5-point dogs at Minnesota. And I should say, and look, Dobbs has been a great story, and I do like
the
Josh
turnover
Dobbs.
not.
Man, he had a rough day. 12-10. They didn't even score a touchdown this game, but they
Didn't need
did
to.
get the win. Didn't need to because Dobbs and company. I thought and I've been seeing this in the metrics. You see this sometimes on paper before you see it on the field. The Bears defense is playing salty, man. I mean, they're playing
Yeah.
pretty good.
Their
And
run
they
defense
played
is like best in the
really
league.
well on this game. They really stopped up this defense or the offense. And although Dobbs got him for a touchdown 10-9, but they couldn't hold him back. The mighty Bears got in field goal range and got it done for the fourth field goal in the winner.
Yep. Field goal them to death, So they finally cashed in. Justin Fields didn't look terrible, so that's kind of good.
No,
I mean, he struggled with a couple fumbles. So
he still misses like wide open dudes. Like there was a play where he rolled to his left. He did very Fields-like things. He was amazing. He's so athletic, gets outside the pocket, just hit him. Mooney is right there, and he just sailed it, and Mooney got destroyed in the back of his shoulders. But look, if he makes off-script plays, sometimes he doesn't make the throw like right off the first read. He's better out, when he's scrambling around. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah. But like to your point though, the defense is looking good. They're definitely coaching for their jobs, and at least it seems to have added some urgency to them. So
yeah. And I mean, it looks like they have the first pick locked up with Carolina anyway. So win away and get the fourth or fifth pick. So, well, I didn't get to complete this too well, so I'll have to fill this in for our preview for Week 13. I know Lane Johnson's been banged up for Philadelphia. He left the game against the Bills, and it showed. I think Fletcher Cox may miss the game here for Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken. He'd be a big loss. So what's up with Jonathan Taylor? Is he out for the season with a hand surgery? What's the deal?
No, he's out I just know that he's out this week. Tremon Sermon, I think, got signed from
Trey
off
Sermon.
before. Yeah, Trey Sermon. Tremon Sermon, listen to me. Trey Sermon got signed, so they're expecting him to be the backup to Zach Moss. Keenan Allen was questionable that I know of, so I don't know if he practiced today or not. But yeah, he was questionable going into today. And then obviously Justin Jefferson got reactivated off the IR. They expect him back after the bye week. Just for people that are stashing him on IR,
What about Taylor Zappi starting for
Bailey.
Bailey Zappi? What the hell's his name?
He's been taking all of the everything that I've read on Twitter. I keep saying Twitter. X, forgive me. X. Everything I keep saying on X is that he's that Bailey Zappi has taken all of the first team reps in practice, and that Mac Jones is running the practice squad. So, or the scout team, if you will. So all signs are pointing to Bailey Zappi, but who cares? Because they're trash. Like they're awful. So
we talked about Baker being a little banged up. Godwin's a little banged up for the Bucs against the Panthers. Who else? The Browns. They signed Joe Flacco.
Oh yeah, Joe Flacco's going to play because DTR has now officially been ruled out. So the Joe Flacco era has officially begun in Cleveland.
How does he feel playing for Cleveland? I mean, he was playing for the Ravens for so many years. I mean, come on.
I think he's number 16 too. I think that's the number he took in Cleveland. So
nice.
Get excited.
Let's see. There's a lot of injuries.
Denzel Ward was also ruled out for the Browns.
Okay. The Packers have some injuries. Aaron Jones, who knows if that guy's ever going to play. What a terrible fantasy pick by me. Reed's hurt, a little banged up. They've got a lot of guys hurt on that team, but Love's been playing pretty good. And then I think that's all I've got.
Yeah, that's kind of your major ones.
Yeah, so we obviously, last night's game, we didn't get to talk about it. The Cowboys did win the game. It was a 41-35, so they didn't cover the closing number of 9. 47.5, that was an easy over. I don't know what happened in this game. The Dallas defense could not cover Metcalf. That guy just dominated him. And more importantly, I mean, this is sad. One of my teams, I'm probably going to make the playoffs, but I've got a quarterback issue. I did have Geno Smith in there. I'm like, everybody's like, oh, he's terrible against man-to-man coverage, blah, blah, blah. I dropped him for Kenny Pickett. Yeah, he
Nice.
went for
That's good.
30.
GM of the year. That's GM of the year right there, baby.
Going right to the shed on that one.
Who
But
told you that? Who told you
six to
man-to-man
six.
coverage? He has two of the best man-beating wide receivers in the league. They're literally top 15 between DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like, it's not even Tyler Lockett anymore.
I know, but have you seen it? Most of the time against man coverage, he does not do very well. But apparently, one game he did well.
You're getting some bad info. I don't know who told you that.
Yeah. So good for Dallas to keep winning. No shock there.
No. Boo.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yes.
I do have them winning their division, even though they're 2 games back. But just watch.
I bought in at Seattle last night when they were down 17-7. I got them at plus 800, and I felt really good at halftime that they were. Also, I caught on, so I thought this was very interesting. Before the game, you noticed that the NFL had flexed. They'd flexed the Chiefs and Patriots game in replacement for the Seahawks and it was another playoff. Oh, Eagles, maybe? I think it was Eagles. Eagles and Seahawks got flexed. So I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Why would the NFL now flex this team? So I figured if anything, Seattle's going to have to be in playoff contention. So it seemed like if you're part of the script crowd, like I'm kind of on the fence with the script crowd myself, but
they're 6 and 6. We'll talk about the NFC playoff picture at some point, but there's not that many good teams in the NFC. We've discussed this many times. They're 6 and 6. They're okay. They're going to be in the playoff mix.
They should have won last night. I'm still salty. I had a nice money line bet, and everything was lining up really well. And I'm still driving the salt truck, Wegs. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing we didn't talk about, which so as people should know on the podcast, sometimes I get up a little late in the morning. Maybe I'm in a conference, maybe I had a couple extra drinks. I don't know. And then all of a sudden I get a text from my esteemed co-host. He's trying to sell me on some MVP, that I don't agree with. So then I get all mad and I start texting me back. You have not once mentioned Dak Prescott, who is kicking ass right now. But I know you can't go there. But you're trying to sell me Russell Wilson over Dak Prescott?
Yeah,
come on.
Absolutely. Well, everybody expects the Cowboys to be good. That's why there's no storyline behind that. Like everybody expects every year the Dallas Cowboys to be good in the quarterback.
They never talk about Dak as MVP though.
Well, no, it's because he's not very good. That's the thing.
He's not very good. How many interceptions did he have yesterday?
I couldn't tell you. I think 0 probably. Yeah, unfortunately. He could have had 2, honestly. And if you actually watched the game, he threw 2 passes right to the defense. He just didn't catch them.
All I know is dude has been he didn't throw. He had 3 more touchdowns. He's averaging 300 yards and 3 touchdowns a game for the last 6 games since they lost to San Francisco.
He's playing great. Just talk to me in January when it matters. That's all. I'm on a Dak. I'm a Dak hater until
it's a regular season award.
Yeah.
Again,
well, I'm a Dak hater until proven otherwise.
All I gotta say is, do not send me texts about Russell Wilson unless it involves Ciara. Happy birthday, Ciara! It was your 35th birthday yesterday, by the way. All right, let's get to the games. That's what people are here for. Atlanta at the Jets. I don't know if these numbers are correct, so I better pull this up. We've got I think Atlanta's a 3-point favorite. Is that right? Yeah. They're down to a 2-point favorite against the Jets. The total is 33.5 is what I'm showing. Interesting money's going on the Jets here. Oh, yeah. I like the Falcons in this one. It went all the way up to 3 from 1.5. Now it's stabilized back to 2. Look, I like the Jets early this season. You know this. I was a big Jets guy, and I was actually a big Atlanta guy. I just think that Atlanta's going to run the ball on this team. The Jets their defensive line isn't that good against the run, and I don't know who's starting for. We still got Tim Boyle back there. Who's starting for the Jets? I mean, the Boyle it's 2 points. It's pretty short. It's not great. They're not a great covering team this year, Atlanta, but I'll take Atlanta plus the 2, which is what we'll have to update here.
Shocking. We're going against each other.
Minus the 2.
Minus the 2. Gotcha. Well, I like the Jets this week to win outright. I think they have to win. They have to win to keep Aaron Rodgers around, or at least engaged, in my opinion. I think him coming. Yeah, I think it's gonna. I really do. I think it's gonna add morale. Something. I don't know. They're gonna start throwing everything out of the playbook, and I don't think the Falcons are that much better than the Jets. I really like. If you were to put both these rosters together, you would take probably 5 players off of the offense of the Falcons and then have the Jets defense. And that would be it. Like the Jets, I think, have a better roster top to bottom from that standpoint. So they're at home. They didn't look very good on Friday, obviously. So it is tough. Obviously, Tim Boyle is not Zach Wilson. Otherwise, he'd been playing a hell of a lot sooner than what he did. So,
Sure.
but I think they got to find a way. I really do. I think that maybe Brees Hall has a game. Maybe Garrett Wilson shows up. I have no damn idea. I really don't. But just something in my loins tells me the Jets have to show up and win this game. They got to win 2 of the next 3 to even have a chance to have Aaron Rodgers come back. And I think that's what the whole season is built around, is having that man play. So the NFL wants it. They've already had Swifties. Now they want Rodgers. I don't see why the Jets don't win.
Because they stink.
Yeah, they want. There's a lot of teams that stink in this league and win on a weekly basis, Wags. That's not a very good explanation.
Okay. All right. Well, agree to disagree. We'll mark it up. I haven't updated all my picks here. I'm trying, but we'll mark that as a difference game, which is our favorite kind. Okay, so let's go to how about the Chargers against New England?
Yeah, how about them Chargers?
This is a terrible game. And you've got the Chargers are now, I just updated the marketplace. Let's see. It's 5-point favorites on the road.
I got 5.5 on my end.
5.5. All right, we'll mark it 5.5. Don't worry, I'm not picking this one anyway. And I've got a total of 40. Now, look, the Chargers, man, this team, they stink, man. So it's the worst game they've ever. I mean, look, I know these teams have to play each other. I'm glad it's in the early window. It's not on prime time, so I have to watch it. I can't watch these teams. Look, I love Justin Herbert. He's the guy. They couldn't cover. They had the cover against Baltimore too. They just fucking flopped it at the end of the game. I mean, you don't want to cover. You just want to lose really badly. Okay, there you go. And New England, please, this team, they couldn't even beat your Tommy DeVito Giants beat this team last week. So, gosh, I don't know if I could make this line accurately. I think what I would say is in my numbers, it's supposed to be -3 Chargers, but I can't back them at any number ever in my life. Staley's gone.
So. Yeah, not even plus 100. Leave me just don't even come to me with Chargers. Oh man, no, I'm with you. I hate this game. I hate everything about it. The only thing I do like is the blues. There's gonna be a good mashup of blues of the jerseys this weekend. Huh? Yeah, that'll be nice. Yeah, but no, I want to take the Chargers, but I don't have enough Pepto-Bismol in this house to be able to take the Chargers. So. Yeah, it's tough. I think probably the Chargers aren't necessarily the healthier team coming into this. They've struggled with the run. I don't know, is Bosa playing or not? Bosa had that foot injury. He's been questionable ever since. And without Bosa, they're awful against the run. So Ramondre Stevens has been playing pretty well the last couple weeks. I guess if you had to put a gun to my head, I actually probably would take the Patriots. I'd take the 5.5. They probably won't win. They may win. I don't know. The Chargers are 2-4 at home, and
too many points for the Chargers to land on the road, so it's not a bad pick that side. It's just
cross country 1:00. I mean, they're 2-3 on the road this season. It's hard to take the Chargers, but the Patriots are 1-5 at home. So it's just this is man. If indigestion and indigestion and constipation had a football game, this would definitely be it. So.
Okay, let's get to the next one. Another great one. So this one is important in the NFC playoff picture. Detroit goes to New Orleans. Detroit now is a 4.5-point favorite on the road, 46.5-point total. Detroit has been struggling the last couple of weeks. So initially I was all over New Orleans at 4.5, even though I don't like this team, especially with Derek Carr. But dude, I heard that they're not going to have any receivers. Chris Olave's, we forgot to mention Olave's hurt. Shaheed and Michael Thomas is already on IR. So can Alvin Kamara beat him on his own, and Taysom Hill beat
A.T. Perry?
What's that?
A.T. Perry.
A.T. Perry. Okay. I think the number's too big. That's what my initial take was. I have it at -2. In fact, actually, is Detroit? No, New Orleans is at home. I got New Orleans. I mean, this should be at least an even game. But I mean, Derek Carr, God, ugh. So it's New Orleans or pass for me. It's New Orleans or pass because we're supposed to make picks on this podcast, but it's New Orleans or pass. It was in my top 5, and I heard all the injuries. I have definitely pulled way back on this game, so I can understand if you want to take Detroit.
No, I mean, I don't even know necessarily the Saints. I honestly have come to the conclusion. I don't think Derek Carr is the problem for the Saints. I think Dennis Allen is the problem for the Saints.
Fair.
And the reason I've come to the deduction that every defensive head coach is struggling around this league, whether it's Sean McDermott or Dennis Allen. I mean, hell, what the only successful one right now is what, Mike Tomlin, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
That's arguably so, because I mean they've been underwhelming to begin with, but God, I like the Saints this week. Because they have to win. They have to
They
win.
have to win.
If they don't win this game, they're done. Like they're going to be done because
5-7.
Atlanta's schedule from here on out is a little bit easier than New Orleans is, even though they're
Yep.
both bad schedules. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, if with this roster, if they don't win a division and make the playoffs, they have to can everybody. I mean, everybody's going to lose their job. I mean, the only
Yeah.
people are going to remain are Derek Carr and the rest of the players. But
Right.
yeah, no, I like the Saints, and the Detroit defense has been suspect to say the least. I think
Hmm.
they're maybe average at best, but yeah, no, I think Kamara could take over. A.T. Perry is going to be a household name by the end of the weekend. He's a
Right.
6'3" wide receiver. I don't know if you remember him, but he was the one that caught that touchdown pass that Jameis Winston threw like across the
Oh
field
yeah.
against Minnesota
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that's A.T. Perry for you. So
The big boy, that guy. Sure.
you're looking for a pickup in your fantasy leagues out there. That's definitely a name to target.
All right. What about Arizona at Pittsburgh? This number's shooting up. It's 6.5 now, 41.5 point total. This game opened at 2.5. What I had, or I guess it says three in there. The contest line is 5.5, so it is one of my top five to roll with the Steelers. I know you've been all on you know, the Kyler Murray revenge tour, but my take is that they don't have a lot of wide receivers. They do have Connor, which I guess, theoretically a revenge game spot. But with the Steelers, they don't score a lot of points, as we've discussed, but they did move the ball last week. I think this week is their breakout week for points. I think they'll actually score over 25 points this week. First time all season, probably. So I'm on the Steelers minus 5.5.
No, that's fair. I'm looking at the Cardinals schedule here, like the results, and it seems that the teams that really, I mean, obviously every team is giving the Cardinals trouble this year, but like the teams that really take advantage of the Cardinals are actually the teams that do well throwing the ball. And I think Pittsburgh is one of those run first teams. So
Sure.
I think this is going to be a little bit uglier of a game. Sure, Pittsburgh might win, but I think I would take Arizona to cover here.
Okay.
Arizona or Pittsburgh has trouble with mobile quarterbacks as well. Obviously, they play Lamar Jackson, twice a year, but I think that's going to give them a little bit of trouble. I'm riding out Kyler at this point. I might as well. So
Yeah.
I think he's still going to be a little undervalued at that number. So I like the number more than anything, and that's what I'll probably go with.
Okay. Yeah, 6.5 is a big number now, but
Yeah, it's a huge coaching mismatch though. So if you really want to ride the Pittsburgh train this week, that is probably a good one to get on.
all right, so Indy is going to Tennessee. This is whatever. I mean, Indy's still in the playoff hunt, so they need to win the game. They're 1 point favorite on the road, 42.5 point total. I mean, I hate being like you. I'm like flipping to you. I'm like, hey, let's back the favorites here. I don't think Indy's defense is very good, but Will Levis is just kind of right now. So I'm happy to pass on this game altogether. But I suppose if I took a side, I'd probably take Indy this week.
See, I think this is the week to back Tennessee.
Yeah, of course
They've
you do.
been because they've been down. I mean, they're 4 and if you look at them, they're 4-1 at home this season. So they do
That's
play
true.
well at home. That's the one thing they do have going for them. They played at Indianapolis, I think like in week 4, they lost by 6 or 7. I think it was like 23-16 or 22-16, something like that. So I do play Indy tough. I think they'll be able to control line of scrimmage a little bit better than most teams. They're going to run the ball against Indy quite a bit, obviously, and I think maybe Will Levis is going to make just enough throws.
Okay.
I don't know if they'll win. I think it was a 1 point. So I think I did have Tennessee outright. I think it was like 20. Was it 21-20? I think I had them in the Cooper metrics. So I like Tennessee this week. I like the Fighting Vrabels. I mean, anytime they're an underdog is always a good time to get
I
them.
mean, I
So
love Vrabel. You know, I love that. But I mean, they beat the Panthers. Whoop-dee. They lost three in a row before that. They were on the road, to your point, and then
yeah, 3 straight on the road. That's tough for any NFL team,
yeah,
whether you're good or bad. I mean, I don't care if you got an
beat
amazing
the
roster or
Falcons
a
at
shitty
home.
roster.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they're better at home. I mean, it's been a while, but
All of their wins this year have come at home.
yeah,
So
they only have four of them, so it's easy to count. But
oh, good for you. You can count.
well, they beat the Falcons. You're right. They beat the Falcons at home. Well, we'll see. Okay, different spot there. I hate backing favorites up and down the board here, but it's what happens
Are
sometimes.
you feeling okay over there?
I'm feeling fine. I'm wearing my Craps jacket, you know. Miami at Washington.
Oh man.
Miami's all the way up to 9.5 point favorite. 50 points is the total, or I guess 49.5. Contest is 9.5 too. It's a lot of points, but I
Mm.
think this is, another thing where Washington. I'm not saying they've given up on their season. That's not what I'm saying, but they definitely aren't going to make the playoffs. And I think Riverboat Ron is just doing nothing on the sideline. So I'm going to back Miami, and they're actually in my top five this week.
Yeah. No, my favorite stat of the week is do you know who leads the league in touchdowns outside of the red zone?
Outside of the red zone,
Yeah. Do you know what team in the NFL leads the league
let
in
me
scoring?
guess, the Washington Commanders.
No, that is
Oh,
incorrect. That is incorrect. Actually, Miami has scored the most touchdowns this year outside of the red zone. They have
sure.
15 of them. Now, on the other side of that, do you know what defense has allowed the most touchdowns outside of the red zone this year?
Is this a trick question? Is it Washington?
Oh, it is Washington. God, see, this is why this is why this works well. You're just so quick to pick up on things. We can finish
Yeah,
each
yeah.
other's. Nope, never mind. Okay, never mind.
You waiting for
but
the
uh,
ambulance again?
but no, I'm with Miami this week. I think this is going to be a big week for them. They obviously can kind of control their own destiny. They're fighting for a 1 seed amazingly, and I think I've mentioned this a couple weeks in the past. Like getting the 1 seed for this team would be a huge step for them to make a Super Bowl run that Tyreek was talking about earlier this week. So I like Miami here. It sucks they lost Jalen Phillips, man. That sucks
Yeah,
so much. God, I'd give him my Achilles if I could. Honestly, I would take the 6 months or whatever how long it takes,
sure.
because I think he was crucial to them being able to maybe get to a Super Bowl and actually winning a
Yeah,
Super Bowl. Because he's one of those freak athletes that can rush the quarterback, and I mean, you see it when he's healthy. He makes a difference. You definitely
he
see
makes
him
it
on
happen.
tape.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
but no, I like the Dolphins this week. I think they match up well. Jeff Wilson might have a little revenge game here. I don't know what kind of revenge he's going to have, but he's been getting healthier the last couple weeks. Obviously A Chain is out, and I think if anything, they're going to probably rest Raheem. I think he might have been on the injury report in practice. I don't think it's anything crazy, but
He
uh,
ran too much last week against
yeah,
the
they got to keep the tread
Jets.
on the tires, man. He's an 8-year vet, so
Right.
no, I like the Dolphins this week. Fins up.
Okay, fins up. Okay, let's go with this one. I have to update the one. So Houston, Denver's at Houston. It's down to
Yep.
a three point favorite now. It's been 3.5 a lot of the week, and then the total is 47, and there's 47 even now. Oh man, it's tough. I love my Houston Texans. I've been backing them all year. I do have this game much higher than 3.5 or three, so I would obviously like to back Houston, but um, God, man, Denver pisses me off. That team, like, they just get bunch of turnovers and then they win the game. Even last week, it wasn't outright against the Cleveland team. Of course, when DTR left the game, it was a different game, but I don't know. Three is a perfect number for the game, realistically. So if I had to take it, I'd probably take Houston here with the three. The contest line is 3.5, though. Isn't that right? Is 3.5. So it's going to have to be Denver pass on the contest action if you're listening. So what do you think about this game?
I like Houston. The reason I like Houston, Devin Singletary has been playing really well.
Yeah.
Damian Pierce is getting healthy again, and Denver has the worst rush defense in the league. So I
Yep.
think this might be a week where they don't have to rely on Stroud to literally do everything. That maybe they can have a nice balance. I think that's going to help them again play against this defense that's been quote unquote turnover prone, in your words.
Hmm.
Um, to me, you just got to be able to be in the right position. Defense is all about passion and intensity and putting yourself in the right spot. That's just
Is
my
that right?
personal opinion. So, um, but no, like I said, I think this is the week to get off the Denver train. I think this is the week that Houston wins. I think they win probably by 10. I think they make a
I hope
statement.
so.
They kind of need to after they just got beat by Jacksonville. They gotta keep going. I think D'Amico Ryan's going to push the right buttons, and I think it's going to be a run first. Like I said, I think this is going to be the week that you see the run first option as opposed to CJ Stroud putting on his cape to win the game. So
Well, I mean, if Houston loses the game, this is a direct competition for that last spot in the AFC. So
yeah,
they lose the game, Denver actually flips them. Denver's right there in their heels.
is this a
And
loser leaves town game?
not yet, not yet. I
I
mean,
can't
this is a
wait.
couple weeks, but I mean, it will go a long way because of the head-to-head matchup will probably matter in the tiebreak later on. So, I mean, if they do play each other, so
Yeah.
we'll see. I don't. look, all my metrics say take Houston, but they also say told me to take Houston against the Jags, dude. So,
We got to
how
get
about
our
the late?
metrics together.
Yeah, late games. Carolina at Tampa. This is the dead cat bounce game, right? It's a 5.5 point spread for Tampa at home, and it's a let's check the total 36.5. Really low total. Um, Look, it's Carolina or pass here, baby. I know it's not just a dead cat bounce thing. I've been saying this for weeks with this stupid ass team. They are not that good of a football team, meaning Carolina, but Tampa has been trending the wrong way. And 5.5 divisional game, it's too much, dude. I mean, I know that you've got your metric. I think it was more like 7, but so Carolina or pass. I don't have it in my top 5, but I may have to swallow the pill. And we got to take some dogs this week.
No, I love Carolina this week. It's actually my pick of the week. I love Carolina. I like pick of the week. I like the like you said, you touched on earlier, the Buccaneers defense is definitely trending in the wrong direction. They've if you look at metric wise, they're giving up more passing yards than like every other defense in the league except for one. So
Right.
it's just they're going in the wrong direction. They've got injuries. Obviously that's never fun to overcome for any team in the league. But no, I think to your point, I think they're going to get back to running the ball. Chuba Hubbard has been kind of a player the last couple weeks for the Carolina Panthers, and then they got to get some sort of balance. I feel like that Bryce is just back there running for his life every week. It seems like, and I think to get
Yeah.
a little bit of balance will help him. But just it's this week. Carolina has to win. If they don't win this week, they won't win the rest of the year, in my opinion. So
Yep.
it's now or never. I don't know if necessarily because I think if Frank Wright were even there, I still think I would take Carolina here. I like the matchup.
Plus 195 money line, sir. Might want to put that sprinkle that.
Oh, and a little sprinkle. Okay.
Sprinkle. By the way, I'm looking at your picks. You might need to update those picks if it's your pick of the week, by the way. San Francisco at Philly, big revenge game from the NFC title game from earlier this year in January. 3-point favorite for San Francisco on the road. The total is now, let's see, 47, 48, up to 48 now. Okay, well, look, it's not even metrics. This is everything points to this, which is scaring me. Even though the money is not that way. By the way, I haven't checked the money today, but earlier in the week, money was still coming in. About split on this game between Eagles and San Francisco. But I don't see how the Eagles win this football game. I just don't see it. They've been running. They got lucky against the Chiefs. They pulled one out of the hat last week. A couple weeks against the Cowboys, they shouldn't have won. This is the game they lose. They got to lose a game. This is the one they lose. 3 points, it's right on that kind of cover number, maybe, a push number. But I think San Francisco is going to lay the wood to them, to be honest with you. And I don't really like Brock Purdy. I don't like San Francisco necessarily, but this is the week. They got everything on going for them in terms of the trends, and they're the better football team. So San Francisco -3. Book it.
And Seattle lost last night, which will help them gain another game in the division as well. So
Yeah.
I'm with you on this one. I think San Fran goes. I think it's really weird. Somebody else knows something that we don't, though, because the fact that
Yes.
San Fran is 3-point road favorites going into Philly.
Yeah.
Philly's the team that's 10-1. I don't understand
I
this.
know.
I still couldn't get this line even when it came out Monday. But no, I think Lane Johnson being hurt is going to be a big difference in the game. The health of the Eagles.
Fletcher Cox is out.
Yeah, him too. I mean, the defense, but just from the offensive standpoint, the 49ers, defensive line since they added Chase Young has been much better. Their average pass win rate has gone up, I think 12%, which is the biggest jump in 4 weeks. So just, I think to your point, they're going to control the line of scrimmage. That doesn't happen very often against Philly. And I think San Fran, they got revenge is on their side, right? So we're hoping this matchup happens again, maybe at the end of January, and we'll go.
And they
I'm
can
with you.
I think I think that no team needs that first round bye more than the Eagles. So hopefully they can maintain that 1 seed because Hurts is literally playing hurt, and you can see that the defense is just not holding up. They just need some freshness in the legs, especially in the secondary. So, all right, well, both on San Francisco. That means the Eagles will win. So there you go.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I was thinking too.
All right, so how about Cleveland at the Rams? This junket for Cleveland's a little tough for them. Stay on the road. I don't know if do you know if they stayed out west? Okay, that helps. But Joe Flacco had to be flown in from wherever he was. Maybe he was in Delaware on the shore or something. But the Rams are 4-point favorites at home, 40.5-point total now. The spread has gone all the way to the Rams here, which I understand, but not to that extent. I don't know what to expect with Flacco. I think Flacco's a
Elite.
capable quarterback, but he's a statue back there. So if I were to make this game, I make it a much shorter favorite for Cleveland. So the value is with Cleveland, but I don't know if I can back them this time. Four is a good number. In the contest, it's 3.5. So
Yeah, Miles Garrett felt a pop in his shoulder too.
yeah, does he play? No, we didn't put that in there.
Let me check.
Yeah, he is a huge. They'd have none of their top three players playing anymore. But I don't know. It's a tough game for me to back the Rams, but I understand why they're favored.
It still says uncertain. It says
Yeah,
questionable. So we probably won't know until probably Sunday morning, honestly. But to your point, I like the Browns here. I think it's a lot of value there. I don't know. The defense is much better on one side of the ball with Cleveland. Obviously, Cleveland's
yeah,
a much better defense. I assume it's going to be pretty close to another home game with playing in LA. Even, Cleveland loves their Browns. So I don't know how well they're going to travel, but I assume it's going to be 50-50. And so I think Joe Flacco can get her done. Joe Flacco
yeah.
is still elite. He's always been elite. Some people
Mhm.
won't admit that, but uh, I think he played pretty well last year in return for the Jets. I mean, he
Yeah,
he made the Jets a winning team, for Christ's sake. We see how tough that is now. So hell, even Aaron Rodgers couldn't even survive doing that right now. So
it's true.
no, I think Joe Flacco will fit their system. I mean, they want to run the ball first anyway. So basically, it comes down to play action and don't turn the ball over. So I'm sure Amari Cooper's really happy about Joe Flacco being in the building. So I think
Sure.
he could have a big day. They're probably going to pound the rock, and I think it's going to be a low scoring game. But I would take Cleveland. Your
Yeah.
4 points, I think, is a couple too many.
Yeah, 4 points and a 40.5 point total. That's really good value there. I mean, it just is. So it screams to take Cleveland. It just, I wanted that last week for Cleveland and Denver, but it didn't happen. Okay, so Sunday Night Football, you got the Chiefs at the Packers. Chiefs are 6 point favorites on the road, 42.5 point total. Is that right? Yeah. So when it first came out, I was all over Green Bay, but these injuries, the same kind of situation as the New Orleans game. I really got to back off that. And the Chiefs, maybe they've turned a corner. I'm not sure. We'll see. They know the defense has played well. Last week they played, early they didn't play well, played good late. So I can understand. I can see, a little preview that you like the Chiefs. I can understand that. That makes sense now. I'm still going to back off the game because I don't love 6 points for the Chiefs anymore. They're not a team that covers numbers very easily. So Packers defense isn't that bad. So I don't know. I'm just going to pass the game. Chiefs are pass, I guess I'll say.
It's the best quarterback in the league.
They have no one to catch the ball.
He's playing against Jordan Love.
Jordan Love has played well. You got to admit he's played well the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, well enough to make him relevant, but not well enough to beat Patrick Mahomes.
I didn't say he's going to beat him. It's just a 6 point. It's 6 points, dude. That's a full touchdown almost, right?
That's fair, but I don't see I don't see how the Packers are going to score more than 14 points in this game, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think the Chiefs do dominate. I think they take over. Then they flex. This is the best defense that Kansas City has had in God knows how long. So I think they're going to take the game over. The Packers are going to be one-dimensional without Aaron Jones. If he's questionable, even if he is out there, he's obviously not 100% healthy. I think they're going to be too one-dimensional to play against a good defense such as the Chiefs.
Right.
It's really going to hinder them. So I like the Chiefs here. I like them to cover 10 or more. You could tease it all the way up. Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
All line up.
I think this is going to get ugly on Sunday night. So
Okay.
Andy Reid, a big coaching mismatch in my opinion too between Matt LaFleur and Andy Reid. So yeah, no, I like the Chiefs here. If you're going to give me the best quarterback and you're going to only make me give you 6 points, I'll take it.
Okay. Hey, I can see it in your top four. It's great. Monday Night Football. This would have been a great matchup, but now it isn't. Bengals at the Jags. Jags are now 8.5, or is it more? The Jags are a healthy favorite in this one. Yeah, what I got. Yeah, they're 8.5 still in the market. 39.5 point total, really low total. So yeah, totally understand. Jags are a better football team. Cincinnati's beat up. Browning's not going to get it done. Boy, that's a big total though, man.
AJ McCarron?
AJ McCarron?
No, it's definitely probably Browning, but they did sign AJ McCarron
Oh wow,
a week or so ago. The Bengals did. So.
from the scrap heap.
No, he came from the XFL. Come on, man. The Battlehawks. He was a Battlehawk.
So what? I don't even know where the Battlehawks are, to be honest with you.
They're in the XFL. They play in St. Louis. But
Okay, St.
that's my
Louis. Got it. Look,
yeah.
the Jags are going to win the game. 8.5. That's a
Are
lot
they?
to lay. Total 39. They're finally starting to get wise to those totals on primetime, by the way, except for last night, where most of those totals go under. But yeah, it's Jags are past. But God, that's a lot of points. I'm not going to pick it in my top 5, but Jags are going to win. Keeping my hope of having the most wins in the NFL live, or the NFL or AFC NFL. Yeah.
Gotcha. I would take the under. That's what play I like. I don't think the Bengals are going to score more than 14 points either. They're
Right.
going to have a hard time. I think Jacksonville's D. Josh Allen's going to. I think he's going to have probably a sack or two. He's going to probably live in the backfield.
The other Josh Allen.
And Jacksonville can run the football, whether people want to admit it or not. So a lot of people, excuse me, a lot of people I see on X are saying the Jaguars are one dimensional. Yeah, and I don't see it. Travis Etienne is fantastic. So
he's a little banged up though. He's got a little rib injury. He'll probably play, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think honestly. I don't know if they'll even need him. But I went with you, Jacksonville, hammer him, or just don't even worry about taking it. Just leave it at home. So I don't think you're gonna get any. I mean, you're obviously gonna get value with the Bengals, but you're gonna need a meteor to hit Jacksonville for the Bengals to win. So
this is a good internal tease game. Tease the game down to 2.5, and tease it up to 45 for the under, and you'll win your bet.
Yeah, there you go.
You're welcome. Well, let's talk about my top 5, which is pretty nebulous, as you can see, Coop. I do like San Francisco -3, rock solid. I like Pittsburgh -5.5, rock solid. I do like Miami -9.5. Gets a little softer with Atlanta -2, and then I don't know about my 5th pick. So I'm either going to go with Cleveland +3.5, Carolina +5.5, or maybe I'll get talked into KC -6. We'll see. Leave it up to action on that 5th pick. Go over your top 4, which are pretty similar, it looks like.
Oh yeah, for the Beaver Nation. We got San Fran. We're taking them at -3. They're traveling up to Philly, obviously. Carolina, Cooper pick of the week. Coop's pick of the week. Lock. Take it to the bank.
Take it to the bank. How have those locks been doing so far this year, by the way?
I know we've won at least 2. I think we might be 2-2 on our locks. Maybe 3-1. I'll have to review. I'll have to go back and look, have the stats.
Put the 401k check in there.
Yeah, I'll have the stats department check into that. But no, we're gonna ride with Carolina. We're taking KC at -6, and then we're gonna ride with the Finns -9.5. I think like I said, the game's gonna get ugly. Yeah, Mike McDaniel's probably gonna have some viral video afterwards or some great press conference. We're all gonna enjoy it, and we're gonna look forward to the Cowboys and Dolphins on Christmas Eve, hopefully. So
yeah. Okay, so when do you come back from? You're in Dayton?
Yeah, I'll be back Sunday, hopefully Sunday morning. So if we're gonna watch football Sunday afternoon, let me know where we're going.
Yeah, I'm going to see A Christmas Carol. I'm sorry, I'm doing Christmas. You got me in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, you get sucked in on another date. Yeah,
another date. Yes.
Heck yeah. Look at you.
Make some things happen.
Cupping season.
I know. I'm doing karaoke tonight. Thought you were going to be there. Sorry, but going to the Lincoln karaoke.
Yeah, that's next week, and you're going to be out of town.
No, there's a karaoke night tonight.
Oh, is there? I thought the karaoke night was next Friday.
Apparently, Keela is doing a separate one. I was confused as well because there is another one next week. So apparently, we can't get enough goddamn karaoke in this group. So there's karaoke tonight.
I didn't even get invited to that karaoke. So
Lincoln karaoke tonight, 7 p.m. Ringing in the holidays, and then the one next week.
Mine on Lincoln says Saturday, December 16th. Oh, but that's by Shauna. That's Shauna. Yeah.
Oh my God. Going back there on the 16th. That's ridiculous.
Do you have a song picked out already? Do you have multiple songs? I hope you have multiple songs, right? You got to have multiple.
I just see what strikes me. I'm not tied to one song. I can sing anything. I'm a performer, Coop. I am not there for the singing. I'm there for the action. You know that little.
Yeah. We bring the vibes. That's right.
What about you? You're more of you got a 1 song, 2 song kind of thing?
No, I'm more of an in the mood kind of like I like to feel like the room too, because it depends on the vibe. Sometimes you got a little upbeat, sometimes you want to go like a little old school party, you never know. So you just got to feel what the people are feeling. But tequila is one of my favorites. I love doing that one. Yeah, that one's great.
Sure. Who doesn't love tequila?
Well, that one you can do regardless of how much you've had to drink. So that's a great karaoke song. But yeah, there's a couple. The Chicken Dance is also another great karaoke song. Yeah.
Now, have you
So
been to Lincoln Karaoke yet?
probably not. I know I've been to My Buddies, which is the one next to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
Lincoln Karaoke is one of these places you have like a small private room, and
oh
there'll be like
really?
15 or 20 people, and they bring in, I'm gonna call it bottle service. It's not like that. It's kind of a it's a little sketchy actually when you get in there. There's these different rooms you're in your own room. I don't know if it's violating fire codes, but it's fun. They got videos all over the place. It's actually a pretty good time, but it's like you have your own crew. It's not like you're out at My Buddies when you're singing with the whole crowd, or if you go to whatever it's called, Trader Todd's, and there's like 8,000 people there and you're rocking out. This is you and your friends singing to whatever song you want, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. I mean, you definitely get a. I guess then you could have your own lineup. Then you know what I mean. I
You
guess
can't.
I haven't thought about it enough. Maybe I have dabbled with Queen though. Maybe we'll dabble
Ooh,
with some Queen. Yeah,
Amy and
yeah.
Rhapsody or something. Yeah, something.
That or what's the other one? No.
Don't stop me now.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, Mr. Fahrenheit. Yeah, I don't know why I was. Yeah, I don't know why that was escaping me. Wow, but yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, hey, follow us at Side Action Pod on Twitter and Side Action Podcast on Instagram. Follow me at Wegspo on Twitter and on Instagram.
Right on cue, baby. There's the fire truck, and and I'm Dalton, or AKA Coop. You can check it out. Check me out on Instagram at Dalton Cooper. On Instagram at Mr. Grumpy Gills. Heck yeah, right on time. We are the Side Action Pod. Real quick on the bowling update, by the way, we went 5-2 on Wednesday night. So
You guys
uh,
leading big?
no, we're not. We're not leading this hat. We did win the first, so it's broken into 3 11-week seasons, and then they have
Okay.
like the last 3 weeks are playoffs. So if you win a part or win a league or whatever, if you win like a section, you're automatically qualified for the playoffs. So your boys, are we rolling balls yet? Are in the playoffs. We have secured our
Nice.
spot. It's a little $500 smackers on top of that too. So a little bit of moolah. But yeah, the boys went 5-2. Jordan Boldwell, he had I think he had the 700. I think he shot 270 the last game. I'm pretty sure
Holy
260.
cow. That's
So
impressive.
he had a good night. Yeah, I only shot 640. I had a bad first game. I shot like 180 the first game. I shot 220 the next two. So, but Jordan held us up. We're still trying to figure out with Swerve what he's doing. He's got some foot issues or something, so he might be on the IR. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you see him, you have to ask him about it. We're trying to get him to like power through it, but we'll see what
I'll make
happens.
sure he sits down tonight and elevates the foot.
Yeah, right. We don't want to peer pressure or nothing, but he's been bowling consistently for the last 6 weeks, even though he has a foot injury. So,
Hmm.
you know, we'll see what happens. So, and your boy, is going to be in retirement after this year. This is my last year bowling that league because I'm going to start school in the springtime. So
Oh,
I won't be able to bowl on Tuesday nights next year. So we'll have to move to
bummer.
Monday nights. So yeah, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, again, we're the Side Action Pod. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Side Action Pod, at Side Action Podcast. Until next week, we'll be in person. I can promise you that.
No,
I
you
don't know.
can't promise that. I'm going to be in Philadelphia next week,
That's
dude.
right.
We
You're gonna be in
have a
Philly.
schedule.
Ah,
Discuss it after I press stop recording. We have to discuss it. I'm going to be in Philly partying it up with my, Philly
yeah.
friends.
You're corporate people. God, don't
So
forget about us little folk when you make it big. By the way.
I will. I will. All right, guys. Well, have
Yeah.
a great weekend.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon.
Happy holidays, everybody.